to 393 index hai. I have to say that there has been reform in virtually every segment of the economy, and I'd like to share that before I go into what we call in our corridors the most difficult and most penetrating but number one problem is domestic resource mobilization in this country. So I'll touch that at the end, but let me share with you some of the achievements of the finance division that I represent, more the Ministry of Finance. Caretaker government, as you know, as I mentioned, took proactive measures. Economy, alhamdulillah, is stabilized. Market confidence, as indicated by the PSX and other indicators, is decent. Domestic and global challenges were enormous. As you know, the global commodity prices were very high when we came in. We also had been hit by the floods, so we had to manage the expenditures and implementation of that without tightening the purse at that time. And I can go on and on in terms of the fiscal challenges that we faced. Now, obviously, we did a lot of work. उसकी वजह से जो सबसे बड़ी अचीवमेंट हमारी थी कि IMF की जो स्टैंड बाय अरेंजमेंट है, जो was negotiated by the previous government, उसको हमने बगैर किसी नॉइस के उसको डिलीवर किया है. And then we were able to bring in 700 million. But this was, of course, in January 2024. We were hoping it will come earlier, but उनके processes and procedures की वजह से थोड़ी देर हो गई इसमें. I can tell you that we also, because this was getting delayed, we have worked incredibly hard कि हम World Bank, Asian Development Bank, Asia Infrastructure Bank, उनके जितने भी quick dispersing assistance थे उनको हमने fast track किया. We made sure that we had adequate representation on the board of these multilaterals to be able to get the release in time. नहीं ये आप बाहर जाके बात. So we we got, fortunately, because of that work, थोड़ा सा IMF delay भी हुआ, तो we got 1.6 billion in December itself. And if you had been in Ministry of Finance, you would have appreciated कि कितना मुश्किल था, क्योंकि हमने उसको de-link करवा दिया IMF के प्रोग्राम से, जो कभी भी नहीं हुआ पाकिस्तान में. The government also successfully curtailed the fiscal deficit at 1.3% of GDP during July-November 2024 in the presence of significant rise in markup expenditures. और markup का तो आपको पता है, it hits you and it hits us. ये interest rates जो high हैं, ये actually macroeconomic management में help करते हैं, लेकिन ये मैं आपको बताऊं कि इसने government कि जो डेट है, डोमेस्टिक डेट को भी बहुत इंक्रीज कर दिया. न सिर्फ आपकी बिजनेसेस इफेक्ट हो रही हैं, बट इट्स आल्सो इम्पैक्टिंग द डेट सिचुएशन ऑफ पाकिस्तान ऑन अ मार्जिनल बेसिस. इस वक्त जो हम बोरो कर रहे हैं, वो बेसिकली बोरो कर रहे हैं टू पे आवर लायबिलिटीज. इंक्रीमेंटल ग्रोथ इन द रियल डेट इज लिमिटेड, आई कैन अश्योर यू ऑफ दैट. On external front, हमारा current account deficit during July-December fiscal year 2024 has been narrowed down by 71.1% to 831 million, against a deficit of 3.6 billion during the same period last year. This improvement is attributed, of course, to the 35.2% decline in trade deficit. इसकी वजह से आप लोगों को तकलीफ काफ़ी हुई है. आई एम वेरी कॉन्शियस ऑफ द फैक्ट, और क्योंकि आपको एलसीज खोलने में मुश्किल आ रही थी, बट हमने रिक्वेस्ट की थी स्टेट बैंक को टू रिलैक्स the opening up of the LCs. Of course, State Bank बहुत important role play करता है इसमें, and they really have to manage the foreign exchange reserves. हम लेकर आते हैं foreign exchange reserves, but day to day management वो करते हैं, तो हमारी उनसे काफ़ी क्लोजली बातचीत होती है. आपको एक खबर पता तो चल गई होगी, बट लेट मी मेंशन के 2016 में एक्सपोर्ट इंपोर्ट बैंक ऑफ पाकिस्तान का कॉन्सेप्ट अप्रूव हुआ था, और इसका बिल 2022 में इनैक्ट हो गया था इन अक्टूबर 2022. The bank was formally launched. Its operations started on December 21, 2023. It was my first priority. हम इसको पहले महीने में कर लेते, लेकिन we were not allowed to appoint the board members under the caretaker government, जिसकी वजह से थोड़ी बहुत अभी हमें दिक्कतें आ रही हैं to improve the corporate governance of this country. We were able to release to them rupees 3.87 billion by the finance division to Exim Bank. और आपको शायद पता हो कि ये जो Exim Bank है, इसको हमने एक्सपोर्ट फाइनेंस के ऑपरेशंस की भी जिम्मेदारी डाली है. So from the central bank there has been a transfer of those obligations, but ये phased हुई हैं over the period, ये और भी transfer हो जाएंगे. Now this bank will go a long way in catalyzing the growth and diversification of countries' exports, and underlying it will help.
वापस आएंगे इस ब्रेक के बाद, हमारे साथ रहिए.